Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us the truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful like this out there, listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom. Alright, so I got this article pulled up, man. They sending another 3,000 troops, man. You see, remember we went over it the first time. They sent 2,500 Marines and 2,500 sailors. Right now they're sending another 3,000 troops. So it says Pentagon prepares to send another 3,000 troops to the Middle East. The decision to move the Army's 82nd Airborne Division to the region heightens the possibility U.S. troops will enter Iran. Of course, they sending them over there to enter Iran. Okay, they're not sending them over there to go dance. All right. All right, the missiles and shit. You see, and Iran is just tearing into America, man. Especially with how expensive this war has become. And they're just getting rid of their old equipment that they're not using, man. It's like old bullshit equipment they're using that. And America's equipment is so expensive to try and stop it, man. And now, of course, we got the situation with the Strait of Hormuz, man. So I want to grab this precept real quick. This is 2nd Ezra 16:18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils will come? Because it's going to get worse, man. It's going to escalate, okay? Now you see these wars really starting to pop off, okay? All right, these powers like Trump, he's going to be afraid. He's already afraid. You're starting to see that, okay? And it's going to ultimately escalate to the point where they're going to have a draft. I believe it's either in this chapter or in the 15th chapter. It talks about how, right here. All right. Is verse 33. It says, the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Right? Why these women going to be crying? It says, in the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Right? So that's what's coming, man. These wars escalating and famine, okay? Famine, okay? And, that's what we're seeing, man. It's getting ready to come, okay? With these oil prices skyrocketing, okay? And the economy tanking, okay? What's going to happen? Everything's going to go up in price. These different farmers are not going to have the equipment they need. You're going to have famines, right? The Lord's going to strike the land, and ultimately the Lord is controlling all things, man. He's systematically destroying Babylon, all right, from the inside out and from the outside in, okay? And eventually, I always say this place will be invaded, okay? But before it gets too hot, before it goes nuclear, that chip has to come first, okay? So I just want to mention that before we even get started, okay? Let's get into the article real quick. It says the Pentagon is preparing to deploy about 3,000 troops from the Army's 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East, adding to the thousands of Marines already headed to the region to assist with operations in Iran. No decisions have been made for troops to enter the country, according to two defense officials who confirmed the planned deployment. But the buildup of troops is a drastic escalation in the U.S.-Israel war against the Iranian regime and heightens the possibility that American service members will go into Iran. The 82nd has a quick reaction force that can deploy around the world within 18 hours, but it is not clear if that division will head to the region. The troops increase comes a month into U.S. military airstrikes against Iranian military forces and infrastructure, and amid spiraling gas prices as Iranian officials block access to the Strait of Hormuz, through which about a fifth of the world's oil passes. Right, the petrodollar is gonna take a big hit here, man. And that's Iran's goal. Iran wants to crush America financially because they ultimately can't win this war. Okay, they can really make a good dent in America. Okay, and as we know, according to the scriptures, they're going to have a part in destroying America. But, okay, when it comes to just America alone versus Iran alone, okay, America's going to win, of course. Okay, but you got to remember that Iran is backed by Russia and China. Okay, all right, and Iran by itself ain't no punk. So the way this thing is going, okay, it's really going to get ugly out here, man. It's really going to get bad. Okay, and that's beautiful. That's good for us, man. Prophecy is speeding up. Prophecy is moving, man. Wars and rumors of wars, man, like the scripture says. This is what we're seeing, wars and rumors of wars. It says U.S. Central Command, which oversees the effort, said Tuesday that U.S. aircraft and military attacks have destroyed more than 9,000 military targets inside Iran since the attack started on February 28th. Military officials have said the strikes targeted Iran's missile launchers, Navy, and its defense industrial base. Strikes have also killed dozens of the regime's leadership. You know, they saying they striking the launchers, but here's the thing: they got all these underground cities where they're launching missiles from the ground, and they have not been identified nor destroyed, man. All right, last time I checked, they haven't really even been using those. They just been using basic above ground shit, and America's struggling, man. All right, and they've been using some of the newer missiles now, and they are devastating, man. Okay, so just imagine when this really heats up, man, they're gonna have to draft a lot of you young people out here, man. They're gonna draft a lot of you YNs. All right, what is it, 18 to 26, and then from there they're gonna increase it. Eventually, they're gonna have to increase it. Then they're gonna send you women. All right, you strong, independent women. Some of y'all gonna get sent over there, right? But I believe the majority of y'all are gonna end up getting pregnant. Y'all gonna go back to the traditional way, all right? Because when shit hits the fan, you know, that's when these women get in order. All right. It says the U.S. already has 50,000 troops in the region. Right? Look at that. 50,000 troops already. And they sent another 8,000, man. You know, because them sailors, they're part of the military too, man. They're over there. All right. They putting in work. It says the increase suggests the potential for more involvement, such as taking control of the strait by force. The defense officials who confirmed the deployment were granted anonymity to discuss internal planning, right? They're going to try to take it by force, and that's going to take a fuck ton of troops, man. They're going to have to put a lot of boots on the ground, man. All right? It says the New York Times first reported that the Pentagon was considering deploying the 82nd Airborne Division. Iran continued its drone and ballistic missile attacks on Israel and other countries in the region on Tuesday, a day after President Donald Trump announced he was pushing back threatened attacks on Iranian power plants due to productive talks toward a peace deal. Tehran has denied any direct talks. Right? They're not trying to talk, man. Trump is lying, man, because he's losing this war financially. He's fucking up America, and that's going to come out of the taxpayers' wallet, man. You know, the taxpayers' pocket. Okay, and so he's really just fucking everything up over this war. But he has to report to his leader, Netanyahu, right? Who ultimately reports from the international bankers who control him. All right, so Trump has to follow orders, man. You know, that's why he's walking around like he's terrified. You know, like he saw a ghost. You know, he's walking around all nervous and scared, and you know he's talking shit. But at the end of the day, he's a used car salesman, man. You can see through the bullshit, man. This war is not going in America's favor at all. It says a Reuters Ipsos poll released Tuesday reported an increasing downturn in U.S. public support for the war, with 35% of Americans approving of the U.S. strikes. The poll last week found 37% of Americans supported it. Overall, 61% of respondents disapprove of the strikes, compared to 59% a week ago, right? Because a week ago, or even more than that, you know, let's say 2-3 weeks ago, Everyone's like, oh, America's gonna make quick work, yada yada. Now they're like, oh fuck, now he's dragging us all into it. Now there might be a draft. All right. Oh, now this is gonna hurt the economy. Oh, the price is gonna go up. Oh, this is gonna. Oh, fuck. So now people are like, oh yeah, no, this isn't gonna work. But it's too late. Iran doesn't want to stop shooting. They want to keep shooting, and now they're on the offensive, man. See, you killed their supreme leader, Trump. Now they're on the offensive. They done woke up these wild men over there. That's what they are. You know, these Middle Eastern people. They're masters of guerrilla warfare. You saw what happened with Iraq. Okay, people in this region, they have a way of fighting. You know, they may not have the best equipment, but they're willing to fight. And these people, in particular, Iranians, have been preparing for a long time, okay, to fight America. And now that they have the opportunity, they're gonna release all they can to destroy the economy, man. Because what did America do this whole time? They fucked up Iran's economy with all the sanctions and all the different economic punishments that they, you know, applied to Iran, for lack of a better word, because Iran was working on the nuclear weapons and America did not approve, so on and so forth. So they put all type of sanctions on Iran and shit like that. So, hey, Iran's attacking America's economy right now. Russia and China are helping them out. So this war is also giving knowledge to Russia and China. Okay, this is America's weakness. Okay, this is what they can't do here, and they can't do this here and there, and then boom, it's going to put them at an advantage, and it's going to ultimately put America in a disadvantage, man. So this war was the biggest mistake that Netanyahu and Trump could have done. Okay, this is 2nd Ezra 15:28. Behold, a horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east. Right, that's the Middle East over there. It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Right, that's these Arab countries over there. They got all these Arab countries surrounding in the Middle East around Iran. Okay, and they're gonna come up with a great big army, and it's gonna terrify anybody that stands in their way. Okay, and what's gonna happen? In verse 30, it says, also the Carmanians, which are the Iranians. Okay, it says also the Carmanians raging in wrath. Right, they're pissed off right now, bro. You see what happened with their supreme leader. All right, and another family member was also killed. All right, their system is set up to replace the leader after he gets killed. But guess what? All the people that are part of that war machine, they remember what you did to their leader and their people, man. They're pissed off, man. This is not gonna end good for America, man. These people are willing to fight to the end. Even if America crushes them, it's gonna fuck America up really bad this time, man. It's not gonna be an easy win for America. So it says, also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, with these Arabs, right? Because, I made that video a little bit ago, maybe a few days ago, talk about how, the Iranians and these Arab nations are all going to come together against America, man. All right. So it says, and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Because at the end of this thing, once the chip is mandated for buying and selling, something's going to happen to where these nations are going to get pissed off, and Russia is going to lead the charge, right? The scripture says Russia will be that guard unto these other nations, man. And so, of course, this will escalate. Once the chip is mandated, it's going to escalate further. Okay, and who backs Iran, right? Russia and China. So ultimately, Russia, China, North Korea, they're going to shoot their missiles. And it says, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians, being these Americans over here. So America, okay. Ultimately, this is saying that Iran is going to have a hand in the thermonuclear destruction of America. So, prophecy is moving forward in that direction, man. All right, and that draft, Lord's will, comes this year, man. Lord's will, this continues to speed up and prophecy continues to fly at lightning speed, man. So yeah, I can keep watching under prayer. Things are speeding up, things are spicing up. Okay, you miss a day, you miss a lot. A lot of things are happening, man. You know, look up, for your salvation draweth nigh, Akim. We are almost out of here, Akim and Aqua. So, you know, keep watching and praying, and you know, we almost out. So with that, I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us the truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom wa, abba abba.